As live music fans and musicians, we're all at risk for permanent hearing damage. The standard options for ear protection are foam earplugs, which block everything out so you can't hear anything at all. And then there are custom musician earplugs, which are really expensive. Vibes high-fidelity earplugs, as seen on Shark Tank, are affordable, reusable earplugs designed for live music fans and musicians. Instead of blocking out all sound, Vibes reduce the volume of loud live music to a safer and more comfortable level that prevents permanent hearing damage and ear pain, while still allowing you to hear the music clearly, whether you're a live music fan or a musician. Vibes' clear, low-profile design make them virtually invisible in your ears so you can be discreet about wearing hearing protection in public. Each pair also includes a carrying case and 3 sizes of interchangeable ear tips to ensure a comfortable fit for any sized ear. Vibes are used by hundreds of thousands of live music fans and musicians around the world, and they're trusted by the country's top professional orchestras and college music programs who outfit their musicians with them. Go to vibesearplugs.com/NSR to learn more and to get yourself a pair of Vibes high-fidelity earplugs for less than $30. That's vibesearplugs.com/NSR. vibesearplugs.com/NSR. Vibes high-fidelity earplugs are great for all live music fans and musicians, and they make a great holiday gift. So check them out. Protect your ears with Vibes.
Why can't every day be like this? No simple road. Yeah, no, I've been on that road too.
There's this guy named Josh, and he totally had the Jerry thing down. He was a great guitar player, and that was like kind of the only heady music I really knew from Portland at the time. You know, this is 2017. This is before Bodie Mojo and all that. So kind of started doing stuff with them, and the Beavers were more of a traditional rock and roll band. More of the songs weren't really expanded and heady. And yeah, in 2020, like, we put an album out just because I wanted to put an album out. Zach and I had a bunch of songs together, and we pretty much did it all ourselves. And
so wait, is this for everybody listening? I was recording and fucked up, and we already did a whole introduction thing, and we're not going to go back and do it. This is Jake and Thomas, and they're from the Supernatural Beavers here in Portland, Oregon. Please continue.
I want to make sure the world can hear about my bit.
Yeah,
like the Kid Cudi bit.
They can hear it.
Yeah, we missed that Kid Cudi bit.
Don't forget the Kid Cudi bit.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah. So
this was actually like 2020 during COVID.
Right before the lockdown.
Okay.
We've heard so many people say, "Oh yeah, I started my band at the beginning of 2020, right before lockdown." I mean,
just getting ready to go on tour, and then boom.
Well, we were, like I said, we were playing in 2017, but very sparsely, and I didn't really have a scene to get into. I had to kind of find that.
Yeah.
And
where'd you move from?
San Luis Obispo, California.
At the beginning of 2020?
No, in 2015.
Oh, okay.
And I went down in 2019 to work an internship for the state, and was kind of away from music for a little while, and came back up, and I was like, no, let's do it. Let's do an album. I went through like a breakup, and I was like, that's a great time to do an album. Like put something on the table. And we did it, and I just pushed it out pretty quick. And it was recorded by Greg Williams, and we pretty much produced it ourselves, and he did all the engineering, but we layered some stuff, and even had an organ overdub from a member of the Decemberists. I can't remember her name.
Oh, wow.
We should cut that out. But anyways, yeah, I put this album out, and I was like, we're going to release it on 4/20/2020. And we did, and didn't play a show for a year and a half after that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, after that, I was like, well, the band's kind of in disarray, and you can't really go out and play, but there's this group called Bodie Mojo. I don't even know if they're called Bodie Mojo yet, but they were playing at this basement show, and I was like, oh, these cats like playing the Dead. Like, can I play guitar with y'all? And Thomas was playing with them, and I played with him for a few months at least.
At least
Thomas,
a few
you-
shows.
You played with Bodie?
I did. It was originally me, Jack, and Mike, and a keyboardist named Natasha
Okay.
at the very beginning. When I moved here, Jack was actually one of the first friends I made. I met him at GBB.
Uh-huh.
Oh, what?
I had been to
Okay.
GBB a few times, and I never met the right people, but I knew, I
Go
knew
in
they'd
there.
show up, and I remember
Yeah.
seeing Karen there all the time too. But she's a little
Happy
it's a
day.
little- she's not an intimidating person at all. She's such a friendly person, but it's a little intimidating in just how much joy
Energy.
she has, and it's like, wow, I don't even know if I can get near that. I mean,
Yeah.
but of course, if you talk to Karen, it's
Yeah, she's
the
a
easiest
beautiful
thing in the
human.
world.
Yeah.
Yes.
Was her name Jenny?
Decemberists.
The Decemberists.
Yes.
All right.
So now we don't have to
it
cut it
was.
out.
I
Thanks,
never.
Jenny.
Well, I was stoked because I was like, "Oh, the Decemberists, that's great." I'm gonna get to meet a member of the Decemberists, and she was going through some stuff and had some health issues, and it was the lockdown, so she couldn't come out and do the studio. So she dubbed it at her home studio, and I was like, bummer, but super cool though.
Yeah, man. And so how did you end up in Supernatural Beavers?
Well,
I'm
like Jake just said, for a little bit, we needed another guitarist, and Jake was around, and he started playing with us. I think we played at least one show. We played Jack's. This is all COVID times too.
Okay.
Okay.
We had played some. I think we'd played 5 or 6 times before the lockdown. We played the day before the lockdown too. We played with Family Mystic, at the place that's not around anymore.
Ranger Station.
No, it was over on Alberta somewhere. It's not there anymore, whatever it was. But it was a weird show too, because all the news was out, and so it was live streamed as well. But there was a sparse audience. But that was like the first live streamed show too.
It was Cruise Room, which they did
That's
a
what it
really
was.
good
That was
job.
the Cruise
That
Room.
would have been a really cool venue, but I guess they had the taco place too connected to it. But I think the people just got tired of it. But I wish that venue stayed open.
Tacos and music are absolutely a winning
They were
combination.
they were
They go
fancy.
hand in hand.
They were fancy tacos for sure.
Literally.
Ooh,
They were
I love
fancy
fancy
tacos.
tacos.
Okay, so play.
Oh yeah.
yeah.
And then we kept playing even though we couldn't play
Yeah.
anywhere.
But then we were
we
kind of
needed-
playing. Like we played with Sponge at Tomorrow's Verse.
we played Sponge's Backyard. You went to that,
We
didn't
did
you?
that, yeah.
We played Sponge's Backyard. They were doing backyard thing back then. This was the first Eugene show, and then we came back. We played Tomorrow's Verse with them, which was one of their first shows they did at all.
What?
Because they were one of those places, like you just said, they opened right when COVID
Right.
started.
Yeah, I remember.
Which is, not the best time.
No.
It was a
Not
weird
optimal.
show. It was like everybody had to have a seat, and it was like assigned, this many people per table. Everybody wears the mask all the time. It was a weird show.
Yeah.
But we played that show. You were there. We
We
played
tried to
Jack's
go-
birthday. That was a good one.
That was funny.
That was a great one. We had some power problems. Jake was going all
Ham. There's a great video.
he was going ham with that guitar. He was swinging that thing up and down, left and right. There's a great video of it. It's like it looks like it was filmed on a potato, but like
There'll be a link to
there's
the.
a
No,
s-
I'm kidding.
it's actually a perfect video.
There's a
We look
still
at
of
it every year.
There's like a still of Jeremy too, like almost falling over and then like getting it was heady. It was like OG Mojo Fest pretty much.
It kind of was like Jack's dad bought this house out Dugan Falls in Washington,
Oh, yeah.
right beginning of COVID too. And we'd go out there and party all the time. We'd have these jam parties. We'd just have as many people as we could fit there.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly, maybe it
Always-
happened.
always
we all had
social
masks.
distance
Yeah,
and
we all had
masks.
masks.
Got it.
We were
Totally.
all
6 feet.
outside.
Oh yeah. We were all like, oh yeah, everybody's
In their own square.
We're gonna be
Everybody hug.
courteous. Then
Yeah,
at
no hugs.
5 a.m, everyone's passing joints and cigarettes around to each other. Like, yep. We were in our little
Yeah,
I
safe
just
space.
stop and say, I fucking love you guys. And proud of you.
Yeah, we love you too.
We survived.
Yeah.
Well, we had some
Weird.
we had some very
Magically.
formative jams out there at the Dugan house.
I'll bet.
It was just late night, anything goes.
That's the acid
Pure
test.
experimentation.
Yeah,
Yes, pure acid test vibes.
We tried to do that record that one time, and we're like, we're gonna just bring in a bunch of mushrooms and record. And I brought a frozen lasagna from Safeway. It was terrible, but it was
Wait. I gotta stop. You thought it was going to be good and were surprised?
I was like, we're gonna get hungry.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah,
Somebody
but,
I
It's a
brought
good call to
something.
have something. Yeah.
Okay.
but we had some like mushroom pills, and they were like slightly altered or something.
They weren't actually mushrooms. They were like something
Research
similar.
chemical. It was
wasn't-
terrible.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
like something
no.
similar. It was something where like it was so different
What's
that you
similar
didn't.
to mushrooms? I can't think
I think
of
it was Matocin or something
Spice.
like that.
Yeah.
But whatever it was like nobody was mentally prepared for it because it was a new thing.
Oh,
It was a new experience. But we were like, oh yeah, we're just gonna record this album right now while we're on this. We had our friends, French Canadian Ollie out there, and he like, set up all the recording equipment, computers. We had like screens going. He was like doing visuals while we were recording.
yeah.
In
it was-
Does this
addition-
recording exist?
Oh, it's
I
out
think
there.
it
Yeah.
does.
Oh yeah,
somewhere.
it's definitely.
I don't know
there
if it's
somewhere.
out there, but it's probably
It's out in the world.
Jack's
Okay.
hard drive somewhere.
Yeah, we got it on the hard drive somewhere, but it wasn't. It was really hard to record. I'll put it that way.
Like hard to play music?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
It was really hard. We
Yeah.
did it. We made it happen. And when we listened back to it later, it wasn't as bad as we expected. But in the moment, it was very hard.
Okay.
I
And then
think
the next morning, we redid it all.
The
it
next
felt
morning,
way better.
okay.
Yeah.
Wait, so I want to go back to it wasn't what you expected part. Spring is springing.
It
It
is.
is doing the spring
It is.
thing. And there's no better time to order yourself some custom tie-dye clothing.
Ooh, looking all fresh
Yeah,
for the
from-
spring.
Our sponsor, the Grateful Mountain.
Then you're going to be going to all these festivals and shows coming up. We're all going to be outdoors soon, running around in amphitheaters and shit. And you're going to be able to look fly
Yeah,
with
some
these dyes.
Tight, fresh new gear. You can get like bib overalls or shorts. You can get shirts, dresses, whatever you can. Comes in white or otherwise. You can
Well,
have him do.
And Travis has even said he would do kerchiefs and bobby shorts and
There
other
we go.
special
and reverse
requests.
tie-dye
So,
stuff. Go follow at the Grateful Mountain on Instagram. He's given the No Simple Road crew
20% off
with
the promo code
NSR20.
NSR20.
And you're getting free shipping. Go check out what Travis is doing, man. It is some dope gear. And like I said, doing custom orders. So slide into those DMs over at the Grateful Mountain.
Free shipping is for international,
No,
right?
nope.
No, all over the world.
No, you just said it's for international.
Oh,
I said
it's
no.
okay. Sorry,
It's yeah.
guys. I'm out of my rocker right now.
Yeah, the continental United States.
I'm out of it. Sorry, that's
Cool.
all I'm going to say
Here
about
we go.
Go over there and get fresh.
You take the non-mushroom mushroom pill, and then you start coming on, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, uh-oh.
Yes, but we weren't. We didn't have the words to vocalize it to each other because maybe we'd all thought it was just us, and we were like, "Oh shit, what
Oh,
is this?"
no.
You
It
know,
was like a 10-hour salvia trip with a splitting migraine.
It was
What?
it was a very intensely visual experience in my recollection of it. It was like there was like just geometry on everything
And
to like
lasagna.
max. And that whole thing was really a trip because we did that, and then our friend Ollie was showing us some music. He was just playing some good jazz stuff, and I was like, "Oh, who's this?" And then like look at the picture of the guy. He's got like 6 eyes, you know.
Oh, shit. Well,
I'm
that's
like,
why
"Oh,
you can
whoa!"
play like that.
And I'm like, "Oh, his name's Art Farmer." And like his name's Arthur Farmer, you know, but in my mind at the time, I was like, "Oh, Art Farmer. Oh, this guy's just out there farming art, you know."
As an art farmer would
yeah,
want to be doing.
And it made so much sense to me at the time. There's no other way it could have been interpreted. I was like, "Oh, this guy just is the art farmer. He's that cool. He's got all the artists coming down to his place, farming that art, dude."
You farm that art, bro.
And anyways, that became our joke for like that whole night because we're all silly and we're like, "Oh, art farmer, farming art, ha ha ha." And then, we end up spending like 3 hours on the floor, like with the DMT's pen, watching art farmer videos from like 1961. He plays a interesting instrument. It's like a cross between a trumpet and a cornet or something like that.
A trumpetet,
It's really similar to a
a
trumpet.
cornumpet.
Oh, like the flute. What is it, the flugelhorn?
Skid flute.
Isn't that the flugelhorn? Isn't that what?
not
Did
the
you
No,
do?
that's
thing.
you know what it is?
Max Brado
It's
or-
the flumpet because it's a mix of the flugelhorn and the trumpet. That's actually what it's
Oh,
called.
flump it.
It's a
Hell yeah.
flumpet. Yeah.
That sounds like something out of
Wow.
Dr. Seuss or something.
That sounds like the art farmer.
yeah. And if you look up Art Farmer, he's actually a great musician. Knew all the jazz guys back in the day.
Wow. Okay.
But that was part of that. That was a big
that
part of
was-
that experience, actually.
That one
The
morning.
art
But it sounds
farmer.
like that time was clearly pivotal for all the bands, for Bodhi Mojo, for Sponge, for Family Mystic, for
Well,
Supernatural.
stuff
Oh,
was
yeah.
coming back, but then like
Well,
our-
during that time, there was no Supernatural Beavers at the moment.
Okay,
They
so,
were-
So this
they
was
were-
in
a-
2020.
This was a hiatus
we,
moment.
were- we had an album out, but we were on hiatus, and I was like, oh, I get to play Dead Music with these guys. And then right after we tried to record that, we were going to go play the Granada Theater in the Dalles. I think it was the Granada. And the state shut down again, and that was kind of like the end of that. I went down to California for Christmas and stayed there for a year and a half while renting my room up out here.
Okay.
Yeah, that was like the
Oregon.
worst of COVID parts, you know.
Yeah.
And then I left town too, and it was like a
Bodhi reorganized.
yeah, it was a
and-
whole
Thomas-
everything
Thomas,
goes
where did
away
you
and
move
falls
from?
apart. I moved up here from Texas actually.
Oh.
What brought
Texas.
you to Portland from Texas?
My uncle moved to Eugene when I was in college, and I had never like heard of Oregon basically, and I had no idea where it was
Didn't
or
exist.
what it was. Yeah, it just didn't
Until he
exist. in
Just a
my
found out
life.
blank
about it.
space on a map.
And then I think I saw one picture he posted from his road trip or something. It was like a bunch of trees, and I was like, that looks
Beautiful.
pretty cool. That looks pretty cool. I want to see what that's about. And I
Yeah.
came out to Eugene like 2017 or so, and I just loved it. I loved all the people. Like people would just talk to me. And, you know, for like one of the first times in my life, I felt like people were like on my level about a lot of things. And I felt very out of place all my life living down south. So,
Don't mess with
you know,
Thomas.
I felt very at home here
Where at
immediately.
in Texas did you live?
At the time, I lived in Fort Worth, Texas, which is
Okay.
by Dallas.
Yeah, Dallas.
It's a-
Yeah,
it's a big
I got a lot of
city.
family down in Texas.
Okay,
Different
yeah.
parts.
It's a big city, but nobody's acknowledging it. It's bigger than Portland, you know, but it gets way overshadowed by Dallas being next door.
Yeah.
I had the same. I think I can speak for myself.
Yeah, speak for yourself.
I had the same experience with Oregon. We lived in Vegas for 33 years plus or whatever, and I never fit in. I never felt like I fit. And then I came up here and I was like, oh, like I fit somewhere. And then soon after we moved.
People, come up here and people greeted you like when they asked you how your day was, they actually meant it.
Oh yeah, and they'll just
and
keep
stuff.
talking.
It
to you.
wasn't just a fake smile and like, oh my God, I got to say the thing. Yeah.
I,
we-
Oh,
I
yeah.
remember when we very first moved into this house. I can't remember if we were walking the dog or driving down the street, and the neighbors waved at us, and I was like, "What the fuck do they want?" Like,
They're being polite.
why are they waving at
What's
us?
your angle, bitch?
Yeah, and it was just weird. Like I really felt like that coming from Vegas. Nobody waves at
No,
you.
unless they want something.
Yeah.
You're like,
trying to flag you down to sell you something or ask you to borrow money or whatever. But like the people are just nice, and I had never experienced like normal people.
and slower. And it was very slow. Like it's changed since 2016. But the traffic, we were like, wow.
People let you in
the
on the
people
freeway.
on the freeway drive like 55, 60, and they let you in when you turn on your blinker.
They're not trying to run me into the
and
guardrail.
nobody honks their horn. You hear it more now, but like nobody honked their horn. Like,
There's a guy honking on the way over here.
Oh yeah, he was just honking at
double
everybody
honked,
though.
yeah.
yeah, he's not from here.
He-
for
or he had-
sure.
yeah.
Maybe he had to poop or something.
Yeah, he was mad. Whatever. it
Out of the
was.
way. I got one in the chamber. I gotta go. So you did you move to Eugene first?
No, I came. I think I visited Eugene, and then I took one day to Portland. It was like raining and shit rain, you know. But I was like, you know, I figured if I moved to the city, I could get a job and I could find friends and stuff a little easier, have a little more opportunity. Because I knew I wanted to play music. I was going to music college at the time, but I was playing all classical stuff. And then I think a couple years into that, I mean, I love that music, I really do. But I realized that world wasn't what I was meant to do. And I think I actually grew up around San Antonio, different part of Texas, hours away. And just the way I grew up, I wasn't around a lot of musicians. I wasn't around a lot of like just free music making for the sake of it. So I was in like doing the school band thing, and that was kind of my musical opportunity that I saw at all, you know, and I went for it and I was doing good at it, practiced a lot, and I just like playing music.
Right.
Yeah.
But that was the only opportunity I saw. I never like considered that you could just make a band with people and go play and like have a great time.
That's so
And that
crazy.
could be a good life, you know? I was so like career oriented on it.
Music
You know?
as a career.
Well, Portland,
Yeah.
Portland has a special kind of musical scene to it, I think, where You know, I mean,
Absolutely.
with all the energy and all of our friends in this community where we're constantly shuffling the chess pieces around, it's like, you know, the Jack McGrain band, you can just, hey, venues like, we need a, you know, that's how that happened. It was like, the Goodfoot was like, we need somebody to play that night. And I was like, well, I don't want to tax the Beavers, and Bodie has something coming up, but like, let's put another band together and throw in whoever's available. And like, it's super cool having that kind of community, you know. You can
Dude.
hit up
Oh,
Jimmy
yeah.
Russell,
Pretty awesome.
hit up Sean McLean, you know.
Yeah, Sean will play anywhere, anytime.
Yeah, that's the master of the sit-in right there.
Speaking of Sean, we were actually playing a Bodie show. There was this thing called Couch Tour, PDX Couch Tour for a little bit. And there was this crew putting it on. It was in this warehouse in Southeast, and they had cameras, they had lights, they had sound system. And they'd basically professionally film and record you a show, and they'd live stream it. And they had, you know, all the bands that were around at the time kind of like cycled through it. We were playing a Bodie show there. And then Sean McLean was in the parking lot, and he was like, "Oh, I thought my band was playing today. Well, I can play with you guys." And then he sat in for like half the show, just showed up. He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm like the sax guy at the Goodfoot," and we're like, "All right."
Guys, that reminds
And
me-
he just showed up and played with us for a solid like 40 minutes. It was awesome. And that was how we met Sean. You know, that's how all of our friend group met Sean McLean initially.
That's like, what a great way to meet Sean. Is he just jumps in because he can play with anybody.
Exactly.
He can fit right in after a couple minutes and just
Seeing him with bands like Liz Special
Humphreys.
and Humphreys,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
like, how are they going to have a sax?
And
sit-in
Daniel
that kills
Donato,
it?
too.
Oh, that was awesome.
Amazing.
I
Amazing,
love that
dude.
one.
Yeah. We were just talking about this with Bodie yesterday. Like you said, Portland has something really special here. Like, I've not seen this before in my life. I've not seen bands that are willing to like switch members with each other, and the way everybody helps each other here. It doesn't seem to me anyway adversarial
No.
at all.
What was the music scene like in San Luis Obispo? Like, was that kind of a similar
That's
situation?
a cool college town.
Yeah.
It is a cool college town, and there was a lot of music coming through because it's the halfway point between, you know, the Bay Area and
Santa
LA.
Barbara, pretty much.
But as far as musicians, I definitely didn't. There's a bar called the Frog and Peach, and they'd have a Twan's or Monday open jam. That was like the closest thing that I could find to that, and that's where the local cats would come and co-mingle. But it was really like a one-time thing, and people weren't really putting groups together. I think it's changed a little bit, you know, because that was before all these brew pubs and stuff that are
Right.
doing
Yeah.
music, and the music space was limited. It was more like bigger acts, and there's a couple groups, but I think it's a little bit more. I think just music in general after the pandemic, you know, you have all these people that are learning how to play guitar and putting a band together because they could learn stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
You
Yeah,
know,
I
I
never thought
don't-
about that.
When I was growing up, it wasn't really like that. It was more, you know, I took a couple guitar lessons at an actual brick and mortar place.
Right.
Crazy.
Now you can like take lessons with your heroes.
Yeah.
You could pick apart you know, there's somebody that has, you know, Slipknot, Help on the Way. There's probably 100 different people that could teach you every freaking note to that on the internet. And that just wasn't really a thing when I was growing up. I'd be like, I'd listen to records and be like, how is Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers playing that solo? And fuck, if I can't figure it out, I'm going to bug my guitar teacher. And he's like, I'll show you how to do it.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I'm like learning how to flat pick,
mm,
and I can look up any Billy String song and it's tabbed out for me. And there's some guy playing at half speed. You know? It's awesome. The advent of that, I think, opened the world of music up to so many people that wouldn't have tried their hand otherwise. And I never thought about what you said, like that COVID, people being home, gave them an opportunity to learn how to do shit that they wouldn't have had the
And
time.
also for a lot of musicians to start teaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We heard that
Yeah.
from a lot. They're like, I always thought of teaching, but I was always on the road and everything. And then during COVID,
I was
I
going to
had all this time and I needed to make some money. So I built up a bunch of students and
Yeah. So how how did the rest of the band come together?
So let's fast forward a little
Fast
bit.
forward,
I think
2022.
where are we coming up? We're
Right?
coming up on Mojo Fest 2.
This is the one out at the
The campground up by
Yes, this is the one by Jack's dad's house.
The,
Yeah, we were
that's-
there.
Yeah.
And so Jack loves the Beavers album, and we knew that. And I
Dude.
think he wanted the Beavers to play, but it was just Jake and Zach at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was nearby. I think I had just come back from being out of town for a little bit, and Jake asked me to do it, and then I asked my friend Badger, who played the bass, if he wanted to hop on with us too. So that was Beavers 2.0,
Okay.
if you will.
I like that
How
too.
many
Badger-
.0s are we
Badger
at
and the
currently?
Beavers.
If the other, I mean, there's kind of maybe at that point it was really like kind of a half-ass 3.5.
Okay.
3.5.
But yeah, really the second coming of the Beavers was with this group, and our introduction was going to be Mojo Fest because I was down in California still, and I was like, oh man, I miss playing music with my friends, and
Were you playing music in California or no?
a little bit, but
Yeah.
not. You know, it's so hard to establish. Like, I don't want to establish another band and
Yeah.
do all that work when I could come back up. And I wanted to be in Oregon. I loved San Luis Obispo is a great place to be. I think if you're settled down, you know, I think partnered
That
up.
makes sense.
All my
Yeah.
friends that have moved back after being, you know, in the cities, going to school and stuff, and they come back home and they're like, oh man, the dating pool here. Oh no.
Oh wow.
It's like, it's beautiful, but it's just very retirement kind of.
It's a little slower.
Yeah, you can't go and play a cool gig every night of the week.
You can definitely do that here.
Yeah.
So
Somewhere.
yeah. So you came back up.
Came back up, and that Mojo Fest was going to be our, like, back into the light kind of
Comeback
thing.
show.
Comeback show, and then I caught COVID.
Oh,
Oh.
shit.
And,
Classic.
And
Classic.
Classic Jake.
Classic 2020, Jake.
right on the way back up, and I was just like, oh man. And Jack's kind of like, you should just kind of come back up. And I was like, dude, we have to practice and everything because we haven't practiced at all. But after that, got the band kind of going from there.
Our first show after that was we played the Moon. What's that place called?
13th Gravity
13th
Moon.
Gravity Moon.
Yeah.
And we played Jack's birthday, which is our
Mhm.
annual tradition. We're JBB once a year.
Jack's birthday band.
Jack birthday band, yes.
And then the gig after that, we played at 13th Gravity again, and we were super stoked. They have this Thanksgiving Bazaar kind of thing, and Michael Hurley was the act that was playing before us, and we're like, oh man, we're on the same bill as Michael Hurley. That's so cool, this legend, and we're so stoked. We got there early to see him, and he forgot the gig was that day.
Oh.
And so we're just like there. We have a bunch of time to kill, and I was kind of drinking a little bit. And
Kinda.
just, like, I think that by the time we played, I was just like, I want to go home. I'm tired.
Oh shit.
No, Michael Hurley.
I remember that being a good show, though.
I think it was probably.
So
It
wait,
was a
Michael
good show. I
Hurley,
remember that
he
one.
he forgot about that and he never showed up?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, he
thought-
literally forgot. There was so many
Yeah.
people there to see him,
Oh,
and
Oh
then
my
he just
God.
wasn't there.
We were so bummed,
That's
holy shit.
wow.
Wow.
but we did get to play with him on a bill the following year, which was cool. You know, rest in peace. So we
Yeah, big rest in peace.
We
Mhm.
played last night, and we did this Portland Water song that he does. And
Yeah, that's one of his signature Portland tunes.
yeah, I changed one of the lyrics to what was it? You call up to Portland on that Corvette Country Mile. They say it sure is raining, and Michael Hurley makes me smile.
Oh.
But yeah, it's that guy, legend. You know,
Living up here, it really does, like, more than anywhere I can imagine, like, it infuses the music that comes out of this place with a certain thing. There's this community of people. It's hard to even put your finger on, but you know it's there. It's you know, like you guys and Family Mystic and Sponge and Bodhi Mojo,
World's finest.
World's Finest. Yeah, I mean, I could go on and on.
Yeah.
Like,
Lost Ox.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yak Attack.
Yeah.
There, it's a very Portland thing. It's a sound that's coming out of here.
I think part of it is we're all friends. And like we're saying earlier, like we all like playing with each other, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
I have another band with Reed from Lost Ox. We jam together all the time.
Oh.
And then there's all these mixing, matching bands. So we kind of conglomerate our sound in a way. We all get licks from each other and spread all the music and
then
all the love.
And everybody does like solo like Marcelo just came out with his solo everybody's doing solo stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then other projects like where you guys did Dad's Weed.
Oh, Dad Weed.
Or Dad Weed. And everybody
great.
always has other
It's a
projects.
fucking great name, by the way.
Oh,
Yes.
that's not us. That's a little bluegrass trio with our friend Clay in it.
Oh, okay.
And they're great. They're super good. Clayton's got this like ethereal voice, and they're just such good pickers. Like
They do have a good name, though.
Yeah,
That is
the
a
name
perfect
fucking
name.
rules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
They're just a bluegrass trio. They're not just a bluegrass trio.
They are a bluegrass.
They're a great bluegrass trio.
The
glue brass.
glue brass.
So when was
trio.
the first year that you played Mojo Fest?
We played the next year,
Following
Mojo
year.
Okay.
3. That was the
Rhythms Ground?
yeah, that was the Rhythm Grounds one. I think we opened it up.
And well,
Didn't
we played 2 sets. I think I
We
almost
played
got
one
on-
set, and then we played Madison True's set.
Oh,
as
okay,
our
yeah.
backing
Yeah, I remember
band.
that.
Mm-hmm.
We did that. I got on stage 4 times that year. That was super cool. I was in competition with Jack. I was like,
How much can I do? How did you, Jack?
So when did Madison? Is Madison a
She's a beaver.
permanent?
Yeah.
She's a beaver.
She's a beaver. She was kind of a.
Wait a minute. Can we hear? Let's hear the beaver rundown because nobody's just the
Oh,
two
the
of you
names
here.
of the
Yeah,
people in
let's
the band.
let's hear.
Okay.
This. Yeah.
The current Beaver lineup.
We haven't gotten through the old.
Okay, yeah, right.
Yeah, I wanted-
we'll keep going.
Jumping ahead.
All right, sorry.
I wanted to mention, Zach. He's on our first album. Great singer songwriter. He's in Portland right now recording with Greg. He's doing the solo project where he's playing every instrument on the album, and he's got this great, very earnest songwriting ability, and like he's a damn good musician. You tell him to do something and he does it. Like I remember he was playing around this lick that was kind of like a little bit of a, I don't know, like somewhat of a China cat lick, and he would always sound check with that, and I was like, dude, just write a song, turn that into a song, call it What Makes a Hit, and he did it overnight and like wrote this great song, and I was like, impressive, good job, Zach.
Wow.
Wow.
So Zach is guitar also.
Yes, but
okay.
He was.
Oh, it was okay.
This was previously.
Okay.
The Zach Heineman.
3.57.
Yeah,
Yes.
Yeah.
he started, he got in trouble with the IRS, and we had to let him go. No,
That's a lie.
Zach.
They rolled right off the tongue, right?
I would have believed the shit out of that.
Zach. He's getting married to Cassie, and they bought some property up in Sheldon, Washington. So
Dope.
it's a little bit of a drive for him, and I wanted to keep the momentum going. And I think I was scrolling on Instagram and saw this guy named Daniel, or maybe the band Catfish and Sons, and he was like this kind of lengthy, long-haired dude. And I was like, oh, he looks like he could be a beaver. Plays more of a southern rock vibe, and had experience running a band, which I really like that. Liked his vocals, and I was like, hey, you want to come play with us? I don't think you guys are really, their band kind of broke apart. And he was like, yep. And so after Zach left, we got him in. So we got Zach in, and then
We got my boy Chaz on the bass, who is my boy.
this
and,
is the current version of the Beaver.
Yeah,
Okay.
I brought him in because I think Badger wanted to play a different kind of music.
He wanted to either play funk or stoner metal.
Stoner metal was the big one. Yes,
Okay.
he was like, I just want to play stoner metal, and
Ba-
that's not what's happening
Badger's
here.
a
We're like, yeah,
freaking-
that's
he's a
that's
yeah.
fair.
Great bass
That's,
player.
that's very
Badger-
specific.
Yeah,
And-
Badger sounds like he should be playing
Stoner metal.
with
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Oh, we love Badger. He was a great guy.
I just kind of wanted to know him as Badger too. I was kind of pissed when he told me his name was Jacob. I was like, I would really.
man.
That's
just-
actually news to me. I didn't know what his.
You didn't know that?
It says
I knew he
Badger
had-
on his driver's license.
I knew he had a name, but Badger was enough for me.
Yeah.
Says Badger, don't
you
give
don't
a
need
fuck.
to probe any
Badger-
deeper.
He did not give a fuck on that bass. He was a great bass player. He could really get nasty with it. Chaz is also great, but I guess more in the rock and roll sense, like classic bass. But Badger was I don't know, played a little bit more like Mike maybe from Bodie, like
He had a 5-string bass.
Oh, okay.
got busy on the
Alright.
fretboard.
Played the low
you know,
notes.
like,
Chaz is my boy though. He's like
Chaz
he
is
holds
a
it down.
classic rock and roll bass.
He's my
player.
rhythm brother, you know. So
Right
we're
on.
holding it down together back there. And he's a great vibe on stage. Biggest smile you ever seen.
Aw.
Can't look away from him, dude.
Oh
He's
yeah, love Snake Farm.
He plays
like-
he plays Snake Farm too.
Yeah, it feels more of the previous version felt more of a, you know, less of a family connectivity, but now it's more of a,
It feels like a band.
Well,
now.
now we all hang out, you know, and like, you know, to a sense where like some of our rehearsals aren't as productive as they could be just because we're enjoying each other's company. And,
bullshitting more.
Okay.
yeah, hanging out on
But
the porch
it's
of the
fun.
house.
I think that's part of it, though.
It is part
You
of it.
have to do that to be able to make music together. You have to have legit connection.
Oh yeah, I think it comes across on stage too that we're
Absolutely.
just like such close bros with each other that, you know, it's
And-
a great thing to see.
And also, we have Will Trailer in the band now because I was like, well, we're throwing this whole new act together. Let's put some keys on it. And Will is like the Swiss Army knife of the band. He's a
That's cool.
great guitar player, great singer songwriter. So now we have multiple vocalists, but he also plays keys. And yeah, also another member of Bodie. Will played keys in Bodie for like at least a year, I think.
Something like
Something
that.
like
Yeah.
that.
It was a little while.
Will. Oh, yeah.
Will.
Okay. Yeah.
You remember Will?
Yep.
I think
got it.
Will. I met Will when I met you guys actually at the Rhythm Grounds.
Yeah.
Okay,
when
is
Bodie
Will the
was
one that
playing
looks
that
so
one time.
young?
Yes.
Okay.
He's like a scientist on
Yeah,
those keyboards.
yes.
dude.
Oh yeah, when
Yeah.
he was playing with Bodie, he definitely like had that mad scientist
Yep.
look to him.
Yep.
He's funking it down over there.
Okay.
That's a good dude.
Yeah.
good
Wow,
stuff,
what
yeah.
a powerful lineup.
And then
Yes,
Madison.
and then we have
haven't even
Madison
talked about
too.
Madison.
Yes,
Like,
we love Madison. She had been just singing with us every other show at least, even with the previous incarnation of the band. So much so that, you know, it only made sense that she was a part of the band. And, you know, we're very gracious. She is willing to bless us with being a part of the band, you know, because we're a group of boys and, you know, she keeps us in line.
She's the momager.
Good.
Oh,
Good.
That's good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We need a little bit of that. She's like our HR, you know.
She reels you guys in.
Yeah, she's
She'll reel in a lot of stuff. Yeah.
How,
Which
how
is
does
great.
that? How does that position work, Mel? Tell everybody.
Yeah. Mel deals with the hair.
You just stop the bullshit in its tracks. You'd be like, look, we need to get this done. Let's do it. And that's the end of it. And don't take no for an answer.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
she's really great at that.
Yeah.
We hear that a lot from. You see, you guys are gonna have another fucking cigarette. I thought we were doing
gonna
this.
record.
I
We're
thought
like, we're right now. I'm sitting here and there's like freaking 20 cigarettes back and forth come in.
We're
Like,
out there showing each other and shit on
what
Instagram.
are you doing
Like,
right now? Like,
Yeah,
Oh,
Alright.
God.
but we love Madison. She's our secret weapon, if you will, because
Yeah.
when
Oh,
she'll do this thing where she'll come out.
blows the boys out of the water.
Yeah, if she comes on stage, you know, everybody suddenly turns around and starts paying full attention.
she definitely has that, you know.
She's got that thing going on
The
for sure.
Long Island pizzazz.
Yeah,
she's got.
I mean, she'll.
It's just really good show antics. Like it's nice. Like she's great playing guitar too, but it's fun to watch her be the show woman. You
Yes,
know? Like she
absolutely.
can captivate an audience. And people we at this last Mojo Fest, we did one of our original songs called Summer Song, and we did it into summertime. And
Oh my God.
people were crying. Like she was making people cry.
I remember.
her,
It was-
her
Uh-huh.
vocal
It was-
performance makes people cry.
Yes, it does.
And I don't think it was just the acid, but
no. Hey, she's
wasn't.
got the
Even if
chops
it was,
right
Even if
there.
it
it wasn't
was.
exclusively
I
the
forgot
acid.
where it was. We saw she was singing that she's doing Janis Joplin.
that was what.
Yeah, that was it.
Was
yeah.
that it?
Yeah, that was the
Okay.
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Come
yeah,
on,
and it was
Apple.
like, holy shit.
Yeah,
it was
that girl's got
she's-
pipes for days.
Oh yeah, she always makes me cry at Mojo Fest on stage.
it was
Well,
perfect.
for
vibe
anybody
that
listening, she's
show.
my girlfriend, and I love her. So
Yeah.
we're very close like that, you know. And I get blessed personally because she'll just sing all the time, and I get to
You get to
be
hear
the
that.
solo audience member, and it's a great experience.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this has nothing to neither here nor there, but I love you guys as a couple. Once I realized that you were a couple, I don't know why it made such a difference to me, but I was like, yes, this is freaking great. And you guys really complement each other well.
Yeah.
And the fact that you play music together, I support your decision to be together.
Thank you
Just
very
want you
much.
to know
You've
that.
been blessed
We
by
do too.
now.
I just
Yeah.
want you
It
to
was
know that.
also it was
You didn't need it, but I'm just giving it.
We'll
We've all
accept
talked
it, yeah.
about that. It was such a delight to get to know you and Madison at
Yes.
Fish.
Oh, that was so
at
fun.
Fish
Yes.
Sticks last year.
Oh,
We got to
yeah.
hang out the entire time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it was so fun.
It was.
That was
Because
a
we
great
see
time.
each other, like a lot of people up here, you see each other in passing at the gigs, but you don't ever really talk. It's like, hey, how you doing? A hug, and then you watch the show and everybody fucks off.
There's so many
Yeah.
things
So,
happening.
yeah.
I feel like that. It was like with Jake too. Like we would always see each other, and I'm like, I know we like introduce each other so many
70
times,
times.
like, but it was always like in passing. Like Apple said, always something going on. Like,
Yeah, and then usually in party mode, so that like
Yeah.
all the faculties aren't there, and so, yeah, it was really fun.
Oh,
getting to
That was
hang with
really
you
fun.
all.
Yeah, I love the way Fish brings people together
Yes.
like that.
Yes.
Speaking of that,
Or Edgefield.
or yeah, true.
yes.
Are you guys doing any of this run?
Oh, of course. We couldn't not do.
Yeah, they're
any
gonna
of this
go
run
to.
if we
Yeah,
tried.
come on. They're gonna
ju-
go
they're
to
gonna jump in
Colorado, but
Karen's
not here.
van on a whim, but not make it to the ones.
Jake, are you
around here.
into? Are you fishing?
I am. I'm definitely doing Portland, but I started this new job. And
Yeah.
Tell me, quit.
Wait,
We know.
I have the sound effect for a new job. Anyway, please continue.
But I'm proud of you, Jake.
I'm gonna send that to my boss, and she'll like that. I call her boss lady, and she likes that. She's cool. I work for a great company, but you know, it's I've been there for 2 months, and I want to try to put time in now. So in the summertime, when we're
You can
playing
use it.
music,
There it is. Yes.
you know, I can kind of do that. But
That makes
I
sense.
will say there's this group that is going to be playing here on the 18th Friday, I believe, I think it's called Blackwater Railroad out of Alaska, bluegrass band, and they have a pretty big following. And I won't be at Fish in Seattle, but I'm going to go check them out.
Blackwater Railroad?
Yeah,
That sounds dope.
yeah,
That's a
yeah.
great name.
That is a
too.
good name.
Not as good as Fish, though.
No.
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 Yeah.
No.
I mean, I would love to go up there, but I'm going to get my 420 show in, and that's
That's
gonna be
what I'm
special.
getting because I work in the cannabis industry. It's 420 weekend. I'm working every single day.
Oh.
Luckily, going to make it to Sunday show.
It's good you can make it.
Yeah, I heard that the Easter Bunny is going to be at the 420 show here. Actually, I heard a
Really?
rumor about that
Hippity hoppity,
I'm excited.
Easter's on its
That's
way.
exciting.
on stage. We'll see. We'll see if it's true. So
We have to keep going. We're
Yeah,
going
yeah.
with the story.
I'm continuing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Madison is now there. There's one full album and a couple singles that are out. Is that right?
Yes, we put out a single with the old band. Zach did what I think in 2023 of a song that we recorded a couple years earlier. But now new lineup. New lineup's been a year as of basically right now. This is when we got back together more or less. I went.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I'm calling this 5.0 then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't.
Beavers
keep track of
5.0.
it.
So the one album that's out on Spotify is the only person left in the band from that is Jake. And then our recent single called Honey, that's our new band. Everybody's
Okay.
on that one.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think everybody. No, Chaz didn't know the bass line, so I was like, "Fuck, I'll play the bass."
Okay. So are you
I think he
guys,
just went a certain way.
are you working?
We
on-
are working on new stuff. We have a few about half done.
Yeah.
I'd say we got like at least 6 or 7 songs started. Probably about halfway done with the recording on all that. Hopefully we'll get in there soon, just hash it out. It's all songs we've been playing live, so we're just putting it together, polishing it up, and we should be able to put out an album in not too long.
Yeah, it's
So what's the vibe of Supernatural Beavers currently? Like
I'd
with
say,
all that melting pot and all the
We're pretty
incarnations?
rock and roll. We go pretty hard, a little more than we
Americana
used
rock and
to.
roll.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little kind of that modern country Tyler Childers kind of
Yeah.
vibe to it, as
Danny-
well as Jake's down home, Tom Petty rock and roll.
But now, after the experience with the kind of the jam band community, I've added a bit more space in between songs, which I didn't used to with the original lineup of the Beavers, and some of them are a little bit more heady. Like Jack would always say, the Supernatural Beavers they're not a jam band, but they're a band that can jam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Were you
And
not like hip to the jam band thing?
Not really before the Dead was my first like interaction with that.
Who turned you onto the Dead?
Well, it really was, I grew up like kind of listening to him. My dad was he liked the Rolling Stones and, a lot of music. Turned me on to a lot of good music, a lot of good radio, which is super cool. Thanks, Dad. K-Pig and K-Pig.
Shout out, Dad.
Always was very supportive of he got me into playing guitar. He took me to see Tom Petty when I was 13. And after that, I was like, I want an electric guitar.
I want to do that.
Right on. So Tom Petty, because you mentioned him a couple times, so he's like a big.
He was the first person that really I heard. The main thing with him too is like 3 decades, 4 decades. You can recognize songs from each one of those decades.
Right.
American Girl, Refugee, Don't Do Me Like That. Mary Jane's Last Dance. I'm just like, holy shit! Like I know all these songs, and there's not too many other acts that can really say that. Like pretty much all the Dead's work is really stuff from the 70s that you think of. I mean, there's a couple,
Touch of Grey and
a
couple of others, but most of the other stuff, like you said, is 70s.
Yeah, and I always thought that was really impressive because there's not, maybe the Rolling Stones were a little bit like that too. But yeah, we had, Skeletons in the Closet. I remember listening to that and I was like, these are all great songs. But I didn't really get it.
Yep.
And I went to Dead & Co., I think in 2017 or 18 at the Gorge. And then I was like, oh, I get it. And then I was like.
Isn't that weird?
Then I was ruined.
Isn't that weird that that's a thing? Like
Such a thing.
And everybody here had that experience of like, whatever. And then he went to a show and it was like, oh shit.
Okay.
That's not.
You got to have the whole pie.
Sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? How did you get turned on to the Dead?
Oh, okay. I have a good story actually.
I want to hear this.
It wasn't like there was no Deadhead fan I knew at all in my life. Actually, what happened, I was working at this movie theater and we were cleaning one of the big theaters, me and whoever was there. And I was just sweeping up some popcorn, and I hear this dude talking to his friend and he's like, yeah, I don't know about psychedelics. Maybe I do it once a year on my birthday or something. You can't do that stuff, man. You ever heard of the Deadheads? They're all just dead in the head because they just do acid and listen to the Grateful Dead. And to me, what I heard, I was like, oh, well, I like doing acid. And I like listening to music. Yeah, and there's like a band that like goes right with it, huh? And I'd been listening to like classic rock, I actually like didn't listen to the Dead at all. I'd never heard of them, but I was listening to like Hendrix and Beatles and the psychedelic stuff of the 60s. Yeah. So, I was expecting it to be kind of like Hendrix, Pink Floyd, studio effects, crazy stuff, psychedelic, whatever. And then I'm like in this bank drive through and I'm like, oh, how about that Grateful Dead, top album, American Beauty. Box of Rain comes on. I'm like, all right, starting off easy, a little acoustic, when's it gonna get crazy? And then and then the song ended. And
it did. You missed it.
And then it was Friend of the Devil, and I was just confused. I was like, oh, what is this? Like, what's to this? Because like this is definitely the band. And I was like flipping through the album. I was like, all of this is so like super chill. I don't get how this relates to what I associated as like psychedelic music. And then I just couldn't stop listening. And then I was like looking through the albums, all this live stuff. There's like 100 live albums. I'm like, what's up with this? No research going in.
That's the ticket, right?
And then I started listening to all of the volumes of Europe 72 when I was cleaning the theaters. So, after work or whatever, you got a lot to sweep up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but you could put your headphones in.
I worked in a movie theater, so I know all about it.
Oh yeah, there's a lot to do. But I just chronologically listened to literally all of the Europe 72 albums, and I just started to get to know the songs a little more. And then at the time I was starting to play the drum set on purpose. Before that I was like playing more classical stuff. But that's kind of how I learned how to play the drums too, is by playing along with Live Dead.
Wow.
Because I could sense that there was like room for one more, and I could just kind of join in, and it didn't really matter what I did too much. I wasn't going to like mess it up. And I was so I was just learning by ear too. So I think they kind of taught me how to jam and like play improvisation music and all that kind of
stuff.
stuff.
At the time?
Fucking crazy.
Like,
that's when I was in college. I think I was 19.
Wow.
I was 19
Just
or
in
20.
Perfectly timed.
I couldn't even like drink yet or anything, but I had nobody to share that with at all. Like I had, some of my friends I smoked weed with, I'd put it on.
And they'd be
They
like,
didn't
"Turn
mind
that
it too
off."
much until I did it like the 5th time in a row.
Yeah.
And they're like, didn't we just hear this song like 30 minutes ago, dude?
No, dude, this is from 78.
I'm like, this one's
Yeah.
different.
Dude, really listen. You're not listening.
Some of those friends like them now. And
Yeah,
they,
of
they,
course.
they get it now, at some level. But yeah, I didn't have anybody to like truly share that with at all. And I went to see Dead & Co. in Dallas when I was there in 2018. That was the
I remember that.
first time I saw them. It was great, great, great show. They played, I think, like Casey Jones. I remember that. They played, what else did they do? They did some new ones that I had not heard. I feel like I learned a lot of new songs by seeing Dead & Co. too, and I've seen them probably 20-something times at this point. But, I saw them and I was like, all right, this is where it's at. This is the scene. I think I didn't even know that was going on at the time. I thought it was just dead and gone.
Yeah.
Jerry was dead. I knew
It's
that.
over,
And I was
yeah.
like, oh, the music's just gone, And then seeing it fully alive like that, I think they played Music Never Stopped, and Bobby's like, everybody's dancing. And then, everybody was dancing. I was like, oh shit, band's still here, dude.
Yeah.
And
Were they ever here at all?
yeah, were they ever here at all?
I don't. Perhaps.
A great experience doing that. And, and then I think I flew out next tour, see him in California, That was my first lot, too. I bought some doses off some dude in the lot. I went by myself, too, because, like I said, I didn't really have anybody
I
to
fucking love
go
this
with
story.
yet.
Yeah.
But, first lot. There was no lot in Dallas that I could see or anything. So first lot in LA, and I knew people were slinging doses and tie-dye shirts, bought a tie-dye shirt. Some wook walking by, whispering like
Doses,
Coke
oh.
Molly doses, classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, how about some of those doses? And, he like pulls off a couple tabs. He's like, $20. I was like, all right, whatever. And then he just drops them on the floor. And he's like, oh, well, there they are. Goes down, grabs them, and like these dirty doses off the floor. I was like, is this any good? And he's like, he's like, and he like gives it to me off the floor, and he's like, but you will have a good time. Like points at me and smiles. I'm like, oh, all right,
That doesn't
man.
instill confidence
Yeah,
in
I
the
wasn't
drug
really
dealer where they're like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I took one, and I was like, I was on the floor, and I made friends with another dude who was alone there, and we're chilling, and like nothing came on. I was telling him, I was like, well, I bought this dose in the lot, and I ate one, nothing happened. I have the second one. He was like, oh, well, you should eat that one.
Oh, no.
And I was like,
Famous
oh.
last words.
I was like, oh, great idea, dude. Ate it.
You're right.
Immediately, like double dosed, came up real fast. Great show. Hot show. I think that was 2019 Dodger Stadium.
Oh,
great,
yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
I
great
remember
show.
those shows, yeah.
Honestly, that was a super awesome show. Still probably my favorite I've ever gone to.
Right before we got back together as a band, I met
No, that was before I moved here. Actually,
Whoa, 2019.
maybe it was 18.
Oh no, that was 2022.
No,
when
it
I
was-
saw
it
him.
was
Okay,
19.
never
Yeah, it was
mind.
19.
Never mind.
No, actually, it was 18. Now I think about it. It was 18. It was
Timeline,
2018.
timelines
Timeline is weird
difficult.
now.
2018
weird.
Dodger
COVID
Stadium.
ruined everything.
There was I think the confusion is there was a second Dodger Stadium show that me and Jake went to together years
Oh,
later.
okay.
But at that one, I was double dosed high as can be, and then my phone died at the end, and I didn't know where I was either because I like flew out to the show.
You're in LA.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't know where I am.
West
I'm like
LA
super
fading
dosed,
away.
lost in this sea of tie-dye people. And I was like, I got spilled out on Sunset Boulevard. There's just like people everywhere. My phone's just
gosh.
dead. And like, I wasn't super confident in the scene at the time. I didn't know I could just like walk up to anybody and like be like, hey, can you give me a ride, dude? Like,
Yeah.
and they'd probably say yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I could have gone to like an after show and just hung out or something,
Like, let me just get this nitrous tank out of the.
I was a little
fridge.
nervous because I was alone, new city, double dosed, And
Yeah,
then, like,
Yeah.
That's a lot. Yeah.
yeah, it was a lot.
Make
And
out
then
your
I asked some
element.
guy, and I was like, "Dude, you got a map on your phone? Like, can I see where I am?" Some older guy's like, "Where are you? Who are you?" Like,
Where do you think you are?
he's like, "Where are you from? Where you?" He's like looking at the map. He's like, "Oh, you'll be fine." And then I walked like 5 miles back to my hotel in the middle of the night.
Just go
It
straight.
was an adventure. It was definitely an
That's
adventure.
the best shit.
Oh, it was something to remember for sure.
There's a clip, you've probably seen it, of Jerry, and the guy asks him about like why what's the deal with deadheads? And he goes, the Grateful Dead is one of the last adventures in America.
Absolutely.
It's one of the last places that you can go and scare yourself a little bit, but be mostly safe and have a good time. And I have never heard it put better than that. And your story is exactly that.
People take care of you there.
Yep.
It's really true. They will. And, that's something I loved. I think going to that show, like, just solidified it for me of this is like a place I'm meant to be. I loved being there. I think, growing up in the South too, I was a little alternative for a lot of the people there. I didn't look quite as flashy as I do now, but even just a little bit, I stuck out like a sore thumb,
Right.
Yeah.
And I could go to the Dead show and I was like, I'm not even close to being the weirdest thing here. And no matter how hard I tried, I could not be.
Yeah, you can't
if I
out-weird
tried.
that. Yeah.
You can't out-weird some of this stuff. So I loved being a part of a crowd in a way that, like, I wasn't sticking out, but I was still me and still able to meet people and
Home sweet home.
get some love,
Yeah. That's
good when you find home.
It's a crazy.
That's
It's so weird that like is still happening over and over and over and over again to so many people. Like, that's the same thing that happened to me. You know what I mean? Like, with my own circumstances put into it, but same thing. Like,
whenever
I stuck out like a sore thumb where I was at, and then I went to that. I was like, oh fuck, I'm home.
Yeah.
that's one good thing. Every year they continue, they're bringing more people to the music. It's
Well, and it's people talk a lot of shit about John Mayer, but
I'm one
yeah,
of them.
yeah.
I think he did bring a big crowd to the scene.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of
There's
the-
no
a
doubt
lot
about
of
that
these
for sure.
younger
Yeah, he helped
kids.
ignite
Yep.
the scene.
I remember I was at a camp. I think it was at the Gorge too. I don't know if it was the first year I was there. This is back when I was like kind of a novice to the whole thing. I remember thinking like, oh, it was like Phil Lesh, is he like in Fish or something? Like I remember some hippie guy came up and wanted to, because I looked like I knew what, I was supposed to be there, and I was like, I didn't know shit. He came up with a microphone. I'm like, oh, don't press me with any questions. But there's a recording of me like bumbling around talking, like pretending I knew about the Grateful Dead, like all the history.
I gotta find that one
somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So we have a couple videos to watch out for.
Yeah. The Jake and Jack's birthday video is truly a treasure.
good
We gotta
one.
show you guys
I know,
that one.
I'm excited
Well,
about that.
there's another one too that I want to see. Is I booked this random gig for Roku with Bodie back in October.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about that
2020,
one,
and they
dude.
wanted to like use Jack's property and like that's floating around somewhere too. It's the most random. This Canadian like producer guy was like looking for local bands. It's like, I got one, and we
Yeah, we went into
played
this
at the old
recording
church
studio.
or
It was like
something.
Halloween. and
Hallowed Halls. I
They
think.
like dressed. They like Mike and Jack cut the shortest bobby shorts you've ever seen. We looked.
Yeah, Mike
we
was
looked
in the
weird.
shorts, too.
Like we had this really weird look to us, and we just came in, played some jam band stuff, and everybody. It was really weird. Nobody was looking at us as we did it either. And there was like
Because of
one
the
person
shorts.
filming on a phone. Like it was like.
There's like an emo
Maybe there
band
was-
playing there too. It's
Yeah.
like the most random, like
Yeah, I forgot about that. That video's got to be out there somewhere.
That's one thing that I love about Supernatural Beavers is that you bring rock and roll to
Yeah.
the shows that we go to. Like it, I think that's something that's missing a lot of the time. Like after
Straight
a while,
up, yeah.
a lot of the jam bands, it all starts to sound like jam bands.
don't bore us. Get to the chorus.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean, like that's what I. There's
That's
like,
fucking funny.
there's a couple of them out there, and like, and I love the music, but sometimes it's just like you want a little bit of more depth, and that's why the Dead. I've always gravitated towards the Dead. Is that these stories that they tell?
Yeah.
Hunter
Yeah.
tells. It's like, yeah, that's super cool, and you guys can melt steel faces and whatnot.
Yeah.
What are you guys looking forward to this year? What do you have like coming up,
Got-
or what are you creating in the works?
Well, this album's kind of been the focus. I
Okay,
feel like
yeah.
we really need to do that. And
It's been a long time coming. We have a lot of songs to put out there. So
and is everybody contributing to the writing process?
it's mostly Jake, Daniel, and Will.
and
Okay.
we've all kind of individually written our own songs, but we're trying to maybe commingle a little bit more. Like this latest single we put out, Oh Honey, Madison sings the backing vocals on it and does a killer performance, has the layered harmonies, and I gave her, I gave her a songwriting credit because
She wrote some lines too.
Yeah,
She wrote some lines of
kinda
that song.
changed some of the arrangements. So I was like, that kind of stuff I'm looking forward to is putting some new material out there because, regardless of how good the song is, for me, I don't know if it's my ADHD. If I play something too many times, I start getting bored of it. Even if
even if it's awesome.
yeah, I just I lose the heart, and I was like, I want something new. I want to play something a little different because then you can come back to that and be like, oh yeah, that is a great freaking song. Cool that I wrote that.
Yeah.
But
you want to love it when you play it.
yeah,
It's got to feel different. I know what you mean.
But that's, what, that would be hard as a musician because what if that's a freaking hit? Like you were saying, everybody knows girls just want to have fun.
yeah.
Everybody wants to hear that when they see Cyndi Lauper. They don't
yeah.
hear that they feel cheated, So
Like-
you get that song.
Oh, every time I see Family Mystic, I want them to play New Moon. La da 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 da.
I love
that
that
song.
They used to do that at the end of all their shows. It was like yam for fish. It was like it was an expectation of like it will happen. They're gonna throw that one down. And now it's a rare cut for them.
They don't do it as much anymore.
Those guys are so talented, man.
Oh,
That
yeah.
band is
They're my
amazing.
favorite
The
band to see in
harmonies.
town.
The harmonies and just the
The vibes are
Energy
well,
to the
the
max.
the Herbie
That's-
Hancock influence, I guess.
They're
Yeah.
up there with bands that have brought tears to my eyes
Oh,
many
yeah.
times watching them. They're
That energy that they bring is so powerful and fun loving.
Oh yeah, the dance party that comes with Family Mystic is unlike any
Oh,
other.
yeah.
Yeah.
well, then they switch that just a cappella singing, and you're just like,
Holy shit.
yeah.
These guys are talented, man. So you've got Mojo Family Fest you're playing this summer.
Oh yeah.
And then what else is coming up?
We only have a couple things booked at the moment. I don't think we have any big ones after that.
Yeah, after last year we played like 22 shows, and I think it was kind of everybody with the day jobs. Now it's kind of like let's refine our playing and maybe hunt for some better gigs, and we're playing like for the city of Gladstone. I think I can't remember.
Playing
Like
a railroad museum too.
playing at a railroad museum.
That's
Jake
fun.
loves trains.
Might
so
be playing
this is a long time.
string,
Yeah, figured that.
string
We're gonna play a lot of train
Bender
songs.
too, or at
Oh, String
Red,
Benders.
Red Mud Ranch. I talked to James about that. Playing Garcia Birthday Band Fest.
Oh yeah, that was a big
cool.
one too.
Yeah.
When's that?
We don't have dates yet.
Okay.
They're not.
I
They're
think
not out at the
summer.
moment
That's-
yet.
Is
This
that
summer.
Peckins? What's the name of the place where that is? Is it?
I think it's moved, hasn't it? I think it's in Washington
It's in
though.
Vancouver.
It did move last.
right?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
I remember.
Or outside of Vancouver.
That's one that we
We just always have something going
we
on.
always have something going on. I want to go.
Yeah, we've been
so
invited
bad.
every time.
It's like the third weekend of August or fourth weekend or something.
That's the
like that.
first Garcia Birthday Band is the first live music that we saw in Portland.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
I was like,
Good place to start.
holy
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it was right out. It was a couple weeks after we moved here. Was it?
Yeah, we went
me
out
and
to
Aaron,
Edgefield.
because it was Garcia's birthday. We went out to go see the
Oh,
bust and everything
yeah,
in
the whole thing.
Edgefield, and we didn't know what was going on. And we get there, and there's Garcia Birthday Band jamming up in the grotto, up at the top under the trees and everything. We walked down, checked out the statue, and we were like, "Holy shit!
We live here
this is
now."
home. This is fucking home, man."
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
We came
didn't-
from Vegas.
I didn't realize how, and I don't know if it's just grown, but I was talking to Scott from Garcia, and he's because he keeps this tally. He said there's 19 Grateful Dead cover bands in Portland right now, I believe. And,
What?
And I think
Wow.
like 4 of them are like specifically Garcia band, like versions, iterations of it too.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just any night of the week you can go see a Dead cover band almost. It's crazy.
That is wild. Coming up, I always thought of Portland as a deadhead city. And after I moved here, I was disabused of that notion pretty hardcore. But having that stuff out there and having them here, that really helped. I think before 2000-ish, this was very heavy country. And it kind of changed with grunge and all that. And I that's how I wanted to mention that. Like we were talking earlier about how like you guys all, the sound up here has generated through you guys sharing members with each other and just kind of playing together and all that. It's really the exact same thing that happened in Seattle in the 90s. All those bands like Mother Love Bone and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam and
Screaming
Trees and Alice in Chains and blah, blah, on. Those bands were all friends and had swapped members countless times in different configurations.
Played parties, backyards.
Yep. And
like
that
all the
Seattle
things.
sound from the grunge era is from all those guys hanging out together, partying, playing music together. And then it caught on and boom, that shit happened.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is we all just want to play music. So we'll do it any which way we can. Always willing to help each other out. Just get the next gig, come up with a new name for it, anything like that. We just want to play.
Yeah, it's an element of healthy competition. And we want to see our friends do well, but then we're also like, okay, how are we going to try to up them? You know, we gotta.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like
remember
it
that
too because there's been
conversation.
many of those. We pulled one together for our holiday get down.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
Like there's been so many different all-star bands because like everybody's like equal stars up
Yeah.
here. You could tap somebody from every band and pull together this great band.
It's Scott from Lost Hawks.
Scott from Lost Hawks, Scott from Garcia Birthday Band,
Jack.
David from Sponge, Jack, and Love.
And Love.
Yeah. And then like we figure everybody like a couple of them had not really they like had seen each
Sean
other.
came
but
up too.
They never
Yeah,
played. Yeah,
Sean.
of course Sean McLean. Yeah. It's
That
like,
goes without saying.
and
probably
several
playing
they
a
like
gig
knew
right
each other
now.
was, but they never played together. And then we heard afterward like Love is like, yeah, that sparked some new collaborations because we'd never played together. And you hear about that a lot. These all-star
Oh
bands.
yeah,
get
and then there's
together
things where
for-
we all live together too. Like I live
Yeah.
with Jack and Harrison and Baby Boy now, but we used to live with our friend Brian, who had a band called Legato Gusto, played with Chaz,
yeah.
and Madison she lived with Love and Marcella for a little bit from Family Mystic, and you know, just having people playing music around you, we all end up jamming in the living room.
Totally.
Yeah.
And we'll play new stuff, we'll play old stuff, we'll just play some covers just for the hell of it, and
That's
we're
so
always
awesome.
playing, you know, everywhere we go.
Right on.
We'll bring a guitar or two, and somebody's gonna sing something.
So
Yeah.
what's the next show that's on the books right now?
we got a Kelly's Olympian
Yes.
coming up.
Okay, Kelly.
We're playing at Kelly's Olympian, and they didn't want to do it
What?
because it was a Sunday show. But we've never played at Kelly's, and
Yeah, so we got Kelly's Olympian coming up on the 27th of
Okay.
this month
Right
of
on.
April, and that'll be a good 3-band gig with us and some new friends we'll make while we're there.
And then we have Mojo Family Fest in June.
Mm-hmm.
And where can people go to find out like what's
Support
going
the
on with you
band,
guys?
yeah.
We have our
Support you.
Instagram, our Supernatural Beavers
we
Instagram.
really need a website.
It's straight up just Supernatural Beavers.
Okay.
And that's our biggest outlet for getting information about us.
Okay.
And then we're also all of our current music that's out. It's on Spotify, and
That I know that was 1.0 or whatever. That album is great.
it is a great album.
That's a great album.
Our producer Greg, who records with us, is really an amazing person, amazing musician. Is very supportive of us. He's an extension of the band. I feel like because we love him and he loves us right back.
Yeah.
He's such a good guy to work with. He's all smiles. He's all down to do whatever you want too. He's
That's
down to listen
cool.
to your creative ideas and roll with it, as well as offer some of his own expertise, which he does have a lot. You know, he'll tell us stories about touring with so many different people in the past. And, you know, like Jake said, he did that big album with Sheryl Crow that went platinum. So he was like telling us stories of that studio experience. Of,
Oh,
you know,
That's cool.
she was a big person, you know, so she could just call up anybody in LA and be like, oh, we need this LA string section tomorrow, you know?
Yeah.
And then
she-
they'll just show up, make it happen, you know? So he was a part of that experience, and he's part of like many similar experiences. Tell us lots of crazy stuff about being in the studio on both sides of the glass too.
Wow. And
Right
so
on.
that's
So he's a big part of the way the album sounds.
yeah.
He really is. He's a master of doing all the computer stuff and of calling the right people to add additions to. You got some steel pedal on that album as well.
Yeah, he had a friend that it was during the pandemic, and he was a touring musician, Ben Woligoski, I believe. And I was like, yeah, some steel would be great on this album. I was like, oh, I know a guy, and he just ran a couple takes over, and I was like, well, yeah, that's really, really Makes it sound like a country song right there.
There you go.
Yeah. So big shout out to Greg. He's
Yeah,
Shout out, Greg.
Great.
Yeah.
He's a big part of the reason that the album sounds so good, for sure.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, y'all.
Yeah, and then
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for bringing pie.
Yes.
I
forgot we gotta eat our pie.
No, we're gonna break
Had to
into
bring you
it.
we have some more
Wait, hold
stuff
on.
for you too. Where'd it go?
Hold on.
we got
Jake.
some Beavers hats too.
Oh, we got some Beavers merch.
We got
Heck
some
yeah.
gifts for you
Wait,
guys.
did
Thank
you have,
you.
did you have more
Well,
dates?
Well, I
or
just
anything,
wanted
or-
to say we're playing with this band called Fern Spores, and they're an all-female mossy rock band from, I believe, Olympia.
Fern Spores. I
Okay.
like that.
That's what I was like.
When's that?
That's at the 20th.
Oh, that's that 27th.
27th,
Okay, that
yeah.
27th show, Kelly's
and,
Olympian.
and Age of Majority, which I don't
This
know
goes with my hair
anything
better.
about them yet, but we're gonna find out, and we're gonna play at Kelly's for the first time, and hopefully we won't get our cars broken into.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard of that place, Kelly's Olympian.
It's an old school Portland place downtown, actually. It's been there for a long time. I don't think there's too many of our friend bands rolling through there, but it's a big time venue. It's been there for a long time.
Okay. I'll check it
Well
out.
established.
All right.
There's so many venues.
And then we have another one,
So many venues.
June 7th.
Is that the park gig?
This is Jimmy Russell.
Oh yeah, we're doing a little Mojo.
with
Mojo
Jimmy Russell
Fest.
from Quick and Easy
Quick and
Boys.
Easy
Oh, yeah.
Boys.
It's with Quick and Easy Boys, and I think it's gonna be like a little Mojo Fest spree party.
A little
Heck
pre-Mojo
yeah.
Fest
There
party.
might be a Jack McGrain sighting.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
And then
You
the
never
Quick and
know.
Easy Boys, man. They bring
Talk about
them
it.
They're
energy.
not.
I love those.
Yeah, they're quick. They're not easy on you.
They are boys,
But they are the boys.
Definitely boys.
All right, everybody. You know what to do. Go follow them. Do the thing. Support our family out
Yeah.
there. And until next time, take care of each other. Smile at a stranger. Safety third. Hydrate. And Darwin farted and yawned. We love y'all.
At the
Peace.
same
Thank you.
time.
It's like it's Sunday.
Same time.
That's how I roll on Sunday.
Like twist and turn, the mission turn, and it's a journey. Wish the world has many problems, but it's a burden. Felony just been deferred, and hell of me has been the earth, and alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a new born. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so commitment, so resilient, or haven't you learned it? Still, one simple road. My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A equal A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
It is now 2024, and the choice is up to you. Do you listen to good podcasts, or do you listen to bad ones? Well, we've got a suggestion for you. How about you listen to a good podcast for the first time in your miserable life? I can think of one. Overnight Drive. Going strong. 11 years now. The podcast about nothing. Your favorite podcast's favorite podcast. Do you enjoy nothing? So do we. Why don't you come over and check it out and stop listening to other podcasts? Thank you.